Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to see how we can extract a stock data from NSE website. Okay. So the requirements are very simple. You just need a basic knowledge of Python. You should have a basic understanding of the markets. You should be familiar to use the web browser and its developer tools. And I'm using Visual Studio Code for development over here. Okay. Let's jump right in. So I'm going to open the NSE website now. So once we open the NSE website, it will load and it will look something like this. The landing page will have a lot of information, the open, close, the index data and all. What we are going to achieve over here is we are going to extract a stock data from the website. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll just search for Reliance. Reliance is one of the biggest companies in India, and we are going to scrape Reliance's data from NSE. So the pages has opened, and I can see in the previous day how the Reliance stock has moved. Um, Over here, I can see a subsection saying it's for intraday chart. And if you look at the landing page, it has a lot of information. And I'm particularly just focused on the intraday chart. Okay. So yeah, so this is the data and we need. So we need to extract this data into the Python console. Okay. So before we extract this data, we need to know where this data is coming from. Okay. So that's where developer tools comes into play. I'm going to click on this and click on developer tools, and developer tools will load. Okay. Clearly you can see that it says no network activity here because the page is already loaded, so the logs are not captured. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh the page. Once I refresh, it says it's again pushing me back to the landing page, and I'm going to the intraday chart, and I can see the data. But the interesting part is now we see the logs. Okay, now this is uh, a haystack of data, and I don't need all of this. What I'm particularly interested in is where the data is coming from. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter out the HTTP calls only. Okay. So let's click on HTTP over here, and yes, it's filtered. And I can see that there are multiple HTTP connections, HTTP requests, and I'm still not sure where the chart data is coming from. Okay. So I'm just browsing through. So this is a manual activity. You have to go through the requests, and you can see it says chart data index Reliance. I'm just clicking on it, and there is a detail page opening on the side, and I don't see anything that can be used. So I go to preview and look at this. So this is the data I'm looking for. So it says graph data over here. Okay. So basically this is a JSON data. And another interesting part is that let me double click on this. Okay. Can you see? The data is loaded. I mean, whatever we are seeing over here in the form of chart, we are seeing it over here in the form of JSON. This is the data we need to be extracted into our system for analysis. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a blank folder, and I'm going to open a Visual Studio Code here. Okay. And let me make it better. So let's create a new file, Jupyter Notebook. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by importing the necessary packages. Okay. There is a package called requests, which will help you to get the data from different websites. And what I am going to import now is pandas. The reason why I'm importing pandas is that I want to convert the data, the JSON data, whatever I'm getting, into uh, a data frame so that I can use it for analysis. Okay. Let me change it to the required environment. Okay. Now let me run this. So once we have this run, what we are going to do is we are going to use the information available in this HTTP request given over here, and we are going to extract this data, which is the chat data. Okay. So going back, the page is still loading. So in the meantime, we can write the code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a response variable, which actually will capture the response from the NSE website. Okay. So requests dot get. Yes, I'm going to hover over this and it will give me the IntelliSense. So it says I have to give in the URL and some other optional parameters. But let me just give in the URL first. Okay. URL. So what is the URL over here? Nothing but the value over here. You can see the request URL, right? So let's get this one in place. Okay. Now this should ideally do the trick, right? It should be. Let's start. It's taking more than 2 to 3 seconds. Remember, when I clicked on the value from here, it took less than like 2 seconds to load. So there is something wrong going on here. Okay, let me kill the process. And I'll tell you also what is going wrong and how we can rectify it. Okay, so let me stop the process. Yes. So now what I'm going to do is this request is not going through. So the reason why it's not going through is that we are not authorized to access NSE website. And to do that, to access the data, we need to do some jugaad from our end. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down in the requests page, headers page over here. And I can see that it says request headers, right? So request header is the one which is placing the request to the NSE website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the information from here, because using this information, I can straight away pass through NSE's firewall and get the sensitive data. Okay. So let's copy the whole thing. Okay. Whatever it is. The reason why I'm ignoring the above ones are these are all like temp. The one with colon in the front, those are all like not necessary. These are like the very basic informations. Okay. So let's go to Visual Studio Code and add another section. Okay. I'm just copy pasting it, nothing else. Okay. So let me just copy paste it maybe into a dictionary. So let me name this variable as headers and I'll create a dictionary. Okay. The dictionary format usually contains uh, single quotes and double quotes at the start. Okay. So let me just do this and set fetch mode. These are all like some unwanted ones. We don't need those. Even referrer is not necessary. Yeah. So these are the important headers we need to bypass NSE websites firewall to get the data. Okay. So let me just construct this. Select single quotes. Select single quotes. And usually this is how, to those wondering, this is how usually web scraping looks like. You need a lot of patience and you need to understand a lot of the aspects of how the websites work so that you can bypass the security mechanisms they might have. Okay. But yeah, the reason why I'm saying this is that, but at the end of the day, it's a sensitive data. So no one wants to give us sensitive data out for free. Okay. So I'm going to give the header data here. And once I give the header data, I'm going to place the header data into the request I have placed. Okay. So you can see that the headers is already there as a parameter in the function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in headers and just give in the headers variable I have. Okay. So let's run this. Ideally, it should work, right? Let's try. Look at this. It says 0.2 seconds. Previously, it took like 10 seconds and it didn't even run, right? So let's test the response. Okay. I'm going to paste it here. And what does it say? It says 200. In If you are familiar with web development, 200 means the request is a success and we have the data. Okay. So um, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to explore how the response looks. Okay. So what I'm going to do is let's put response. Okay. My bad. Um, so yeah, this is a JSON file, right? So I forgot for a moment. Okay. So let's put a response as a JSON, and yes, we got the data, but still it is under the graph data key. So what I'm gonna do is let's extract the graph data only because that's the data we need. Okay, so put in let's copy paste graph data. Okay, yeah, we got the data. If you look at the data over here, this doesn't look like a timestamp, right? Because in the website, I can see timestamp because when I hover over here, I can see Friday, December 16, 10, 14 was the time at which the stock was trading at this price. I want this timestamp over there, okay? But not the whatever it is showing. The data format over here, this is called epoch. EP EPOCH. Epoch is one of the time frame methods followed by some websites. They usually keep it so that they can keep track of the timestamps. Okay, so let's do a simple epoch epoch to date time. Okay, so there is a website called epoch converter. I'm just giving you an example over here. Okay, so just follow me through. So let's copy a random value and place it here. Timestamp. Now I'm getting the information as 9:15:05. So 9:15:05 in the sense 9:15, and this is the fifth second. Okay. So this is the tick by tick data which we are seeing over here. Okay. So great. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna straight away convert this data into a data frame. Okay. So let me create a reliance variable and store the data. PD, yeah, that's why we imported pandas before. Okay, so I'm just going to give in the data as it is. Okay, nothing else. Reliance dot head. Now I have the data in a really good format. So let me just give a column name over here because it would be easy for me to uh, use the data in future. Okay, time stamp and price. All right. So now let's convert the data from the epoch format to date Okay, so it's actually daytime, my bad. So let's do that. Okay, so reliance of timestamp is the column name which we need to convert. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a to date time function, and I'm going to give in reliance of timestamp. Okay, great. And I'm gonna give the unit over here because the data is in milliseconds. So sometimes the data will be messed up if you don't give if you don't mention what the input you are giving in. Okay, so I'm giving in as milliseconds. Done. Now let's do a reliance dot head. Ideally this should be in a good format. Now let's check. Awesome. Now we have the tick by tick data of reliance for Friday. So I'm doing this video on a Saturday, and the data is for Friday. Now let's do something really interesting. Okay, reliance. Let's plot the data and see it if it is really great or not. Okay, let's give in the x. I'm going to give the x axis as timestamp and the y axis as price. Simple, isn't it? Now plot. Whatever we saw in NSE website is now in our system. We have a tick by tick data, which is one of the most data rich format available, is with us now. And we can even plot the data and see how Reliance has behaved on a Friday. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed the video now. So getting back, what is the end result we have achieved from this video? We have used minimal code to extract the data, and we got free market data, tick by tick market data for analysis. And that's really not, that's going to be the most interesting aspect and the most important aspect of the video. Okay. So, yeah, thank you. Subscribe to with stay updated with the relevant content, and hope to see you again. Thank you.